We're back, boys, after the long Christmas break. Back in the state-of-the-art podcast studio, back on the family patch.
Best little city on earth, this. How do I know?
I've been everywhere. Can we discuss that video? Because it is one of the... I know it's not 2000s related, but it is... There's so many brilliant quotes in that. Like,
yeah.
It's just a monologue of nonsense. And it's just like...
It's... Sharks.
Not shark infested. None of the locals go paddling. That's my favourite bit.
It's so good.
For anyone who has seen that, it's a guy called Paul Sykes, and I don't actually know what the program is. Is it a documentary?
It's a documentary on him. Yeah, because he was described by Charles Bronson, as the most dangerous prisoner in Britain at the time, but he'd also been a boxer, right? So this guy decided to do a documentary on him.
And they kind of they probably met him the first time and went, okay, this fella's nuts. This guy is interested. We're gonna make, and he, one of the best scenes from a documentary I've ever seen is him just sitting on a garden chair outside his council house. Give me this council in Wakefield. Like having a fag or whatever have you seen it, Dan?
No. I've seen clips of it because you showed it, but I haven't seen it properly, no.
Had a good break, boys?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Any Christmas 2000 sport or anything any flashbacks you saw or anything like that? Anything come to mind? Discussions with family members?
No, not really.
Cheers.
I mean, sport at that time of year always makes you think of when England goes down under for the Ashes. So I remember, I remember 06-07 when we got whitewashed after winning in 05. I remember 10-11 when we won. Not quite millennials, but 10-11 was
a lot of darts watched.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, wasn't it? It was good. Good this year. Luke Littler obviously then went one further than he did last year.
Yeah. And, shout out to Luke the Nuke. Happy 18th birthday as well. He just turned 18. So.
It's mad anyway. Yeah. But one thing that has been
listener
going
of the pod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One thing that has been going on since we've been away, and is the kind of central theme to this episode, is the NFL playoffs. For those of you who don't know, I play the sport, I coach the sport. I've been involved with the sport for the last 7 or 8 years or so. Always loved it since a kid.
In America?
No. But you two are kind of less familiar with the sport. Dan's sheepish in this episode about his knowledge of NFL.
I might surprise you though.
You might surprise me, yeah. Will, you know a little bit about it, right? You've kind of watched past Super Bowls and stuff like that. How much do you kind of...
always watch the Super Bowl, enjoy the NFL, but but last few years, more stuff going on. I haven't managed to sit down and watch as much of it, so probably less up to date than I was. But
well, I'm going to make it my mission to get you boys into the sport itself, not just the Super Bowl.
You've got from now till the season starts in September, is it? Restarts then?
Yeah.
We still got conference finals this weekend and then Super Bowl.
No, the conference finals just been.
Oh yeah, I have. That's how much. That's how up to date I am.
The Pro Bowl, which we won't talk about.
Philadelphia against Kansas.
Yes. So it's Super Bowl 59 in two weeks' time is in New Orleans. Kansas City Chiefs against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a repeat of 2 years ago, the 2022 season. Well, 2022 season, played in 23, where Kansas City won 38-35 in Arizona, and the Eagles fans, what's the word? Rightfully so, felt robbed in that Super Bowl. The Chiefs are looking to be the first ever team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowl titles.
Three-peat,
yeah, first team to ever three-peat.
NFL now.
And they have been to the last 5 of... they have been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. So
dynasty, mate.
Yeah, we've gone from one dynasty to the next, really, in the NFL. A lot of NFL fans are really, really bored with the Chiefs making it, but you cannot doubt their kind of... their team, in January, in the playoffs, when it counts, they are just incredible. Their roster on paper isn't probably the most talented, isn't the best, but they are just absolutely incredible when it matters. They've got obviously the best quarterback in the league with Patrick Mahomes, probably the best head coach and offensive coordinator in the league with Andy Reid, who just seem to every year come up with something new that, you know, outfoxes the opposition, and they cannot get past them. Do you boy? I'm going to come to you, Will. Do you have any sort of Super Bowls that you've watched in the past? Sort of anyone's stick out in your memory?
I'll go one, but you go first. Yeah.
As a Pats fan, the first ones I remember are the losses to the Giants. And the scars of that. So then when we got up against the Seahawks, who would, to be fair, be my NFC team, we got up against them, and
I didn't even know you had one.
That was incredible. And then the other two. Well, no, the third win of the 2010s was a bit boring against the Rams. The Chargers even. But the one against the Falcons, I watched that one in Sydney, so it's the first time I ever got to watch a Super Bowl not in the middle of the night. It's Monday after the Sydney Sevens, day off work, and we I mean the game had gone. We were not coming back, and then
I'll come on to that. I will come on to that. Then. But I remember that was my first year, I think, in first year of playing American football. We'd had a game that day, and we always had a big Super Bowl fundraiser kind of party in the night. And my friend Steph, who's a Falcons fan, I watched his face just melt as the Falcons just kind of. I still don't know how they threw that away, but
Brady, baby.
I've never felt so sorry for anyone in my life as I did to Steph that night, because I was like, I wanted the Falcons to win that night as well. So I was gutted, but I was like, imagine if you were a Falcons fan in that night. Dan, what have you got?
I think the only one I've watched from start to finish could have been Super Bowl 50. Was it a Panthers?
Yeah, in Levi's Stadium.
Yeah. It was it
Peyton
Peterman's last game?
Beyonce at halftime.
I thought it was Coldplay.
Well, it was Coldplay, but they featured Beyonce, and
was that the one where Von Miller got MVP?
I can't remember.
Pass rusher.
All I remember was it.
I think you're asking a question beyond.
Who was there? Panthers? Is it Cam Newton?
Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's the only. I remember just being fucked in school the day after. I was. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I was in school.
Yeah, I was teaching.
So was I.
Yeah.
So you would have been in school as well, but for different. I was in school as well.
Yeah.
I used to when I was in school, I'd record it on Sky Plus.
Okay.
And I'd get up at like 5:30 in the morning or whatever and watch it before school, so you could skip through all the adverts and the boring bits and whatever. And the remote would just be constantly in my hand because you'd just be skipping through commercials and whatever. But I always that was like the only day I would get up early for anything, and like I did not want to know the result in school, as I couldn't be dealing with that.
What colour Gatorade do you reckon is going to be this year?
Oh, that's always a bet, or the coin who wins the coin toss is always these quirky.
Is it Kendrick Lamar who's doing
Kendrick Lamar? Yeah, this year. I think there's a few others.
I tell you what,
he's I
didn't
watch the Super Bowl, but was it Eminem and? Was it who's
a few years ago? They did
a couple of years ago. It was unreal.
Yeah, so it was in Los Angeles. So they did kind of like, even though Eminem's from Detroit, they did kind of like Dre, Snoop Dogg, those kind of LA.
Yeah, they were coming up from the thing.
Yeah, but because Eminem is Dr. Dre's prodigy type of thing, he joined them as well. I can't remember who else it was, but it was the
Kendrick,
first.
Wasn't it? Kendrick Lamar as well.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I can't remember. But
and some girl. Was it Fergie?
Ooh, good knowledge of it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. But what I've got here for you guys is some crazy Super Bowl moments from 2000 up until now. So as we said, it's not only, it's always a really, really good game, or usually a really good game. Only probably the Rams against the Patriots a few years ago was probably the worst one I've seen. It's usually got something in it which spices it up.
You reckon it was the Rams, do you?
Sorry?
You reckon it was the Rams?
A few years ago, yeah.
When
Jared Goff was there. When Jared Goff was there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would have been the Rams a few years ago, yeah. It was the Rams.
Chargers?
No, I don't think the Chargers have ever got to a Super Bowl, off the top of my head. I don't think. Certainly not in the last 10 years. They haven't in the last 10 years. Definitely not. So the first one is in 2010, down by 4 at halftime. The New Orleans Saints head coach, Sean Payton, elected to onside kick at the start of the second half against the Colts. Do you know what an onside kick is?
Yes.
Is it just when you like scuff it or like
it's like a grubber kick?
Yeah, I've played Madden.
Yeah. So it's typically something that you only do when you're in the last minute of the game. You're down by points. You need to get the ball back to be able to score, and you have to kick it 10 yards. So similar to rugby, and it's always like a scramble. It's just you need a lucky bounce basically. And now he wouldn't be able to do this because this year they've brought in you have to declare that you're going to onside kick before you do it. So there is no.
What's the point?
It's all about player safety and stuff. They all think it's a bit of a scramble. They've obviously changed the kickoff law this year.
Yeah.
So that's one thing they've changed. So they wouldn't be able to do it at this now, but. It completely took the Colts by surprise, and the Saints got that lucky bounce and recovered the fumble. And then they went on to win the game 31-17. So that really, really did change the momentum of the game. And that I remember having the Madden after that year, and in the intro trailer was the commentary bits, and he was like, onside kick to start the second half. Really unbelievable decision by Sean Payton. And it's. I don't think I've ever seen it again.
Really? Yeah.
Especially to be that bold in a Super Bowl as well. I think they were leading at halftime, so they did have a little bit. Oh, sorry, no, I said down by 4 the half. So they kind of needed to make a change. But yeah, just incredible. And then this one's a little bit more serious. In the 2000 Super Bowl, the Tennessee Titans drove down the field to the 10-yard line of the Rams, and they were trailing by 23-16 with 5 seconds to go. They knew they only had one play to get in the end zone and potentially force an overtime. Quarterback Steve McNair completed a pass to Kevin Dyson, but defender Mike Jones wrapped up Dyson just 1 yard from the goal line as time expired. So they were 1 yard away from tying the game. As time expired, the Rams walk off and win the Super Bowl. This result was significant for both quarterbacks. So the Rams quarterback was Kurt Warner, and that made him the first ever undrafted quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So he came into the league undrafted, nobody fancied him, and worked his way up, worked himself onto a practice squad, and then all the way up to a starter, and then all the way up to winning the Super Bowl. And he went on to have an excellent career. He's one of, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played. And then for Steve McNair, in 2009, Steve Air McNair, as he was known, was found dead in an apartment in Nashville with 2 gunshot wounds to the chest, alongside his partner Jenny Kazemi, who is believed to have shot McNair. And this,
yeah. Well, he did say a series. Like, when is the series?
Yeah, I was waiting for the series.
This story's one of the Untold series. The documentaries on Netflix is one of these stories. They're really good. Yeah. They're the best kind of sports documentaries. And that covers this story really well. But it just
say that to Alan.
It's just the kind of like the juxtaposition, I guess, of like. I mean, obviously that him losing that Super Bowl didn't lead to him being murdered, but it's just
that
the kind of
insinuation.
The contradictions, is that
the juxtaposition I've gone with. That's the word I've gone with.
I've heard of that word, but yeah.
I've been trying to shoehorn it into conversations over Christmas because I remember
juxtaposition.
It's a nice little word.
It is a nice word.
Well, it's not a little word, but I've been trying to shoehorn it in where I can. But that's crazy, isn't it?
It's just,
if you, like, I won't spoil the documentary, but I think he was married at the time, and this girl, he was having an affair with her as well, and she's obviously not all there. She was very, very jealous, very controlling, and he was quite smitten with her, and
obviously took tips from Tiger Woods.
But apparently, everyone says just like what a nice fella he was, and. It's obviously a tragedy what happened to him, but I don't know if you remember this one, Will. This one.
Is this a bit cheery?
This is a bit cheery, especially for you as a Patriots fan. In 2015, the 2015 Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks drove the ball down to the 2-yard line of the Patriots.
Malcolm Butler.
Down by 4 with 25 seconds to play. They had, who did they have in the backfield, Will? The Seahawks.
Was that Super Bowl 49?
Could have been, yeah.
I think I watched a lot. Yeah,
might have been. Do you remember who they had in the backfield? The running back.
I thought you're supposed to be a fan.
Beast mode.
I'm gonna be so annoyed when you say his name.
Fenway.
Yeah, Adebayo Akinfenwa in the back. Tell you what, if you wouldn't be far wrong. You put him in a pair of pads, handed in the ball.
Yeah, put me out of my misery.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Beast mode Marshawn Lynch, who at the time was probably the best running back in the NFL, an absolute monster. For anyone who kind of knows the NFL, he's kind of like Derrick Henry is now with the Ravens, just an absolute monster. Your ultimate power back, right? And they opted to not give him the ball on, what was it, the 2-yard line on second down, I believe, to win the Super Bowl. And instead they went to pass, and the pass was intercepted by Malcolm Butler, which handed the Patriots the title. And that play call is one of the most heavily criticised play calls of all. It almost cost Pete Carroll his job, genuinely. And
but
still
all
to
the
this
momentum,
day.
because they were only there because of the catch just before that, where he like bobbles it and he's on his back on the ground, knocking it up and eventually catches it. It's like the helmet catch in the.
You're thinking of that was Edelman, no?
No, Edelman obviously also had that one, but Seattle had the same.
So it was against Seattle Seahawks.
So it was the Seahawks.
Am I right
against
thinking
the Patriots?
It was in their ground as well? Or am I being
No. The Super Bowl is never in the north unless it's in an indoor stadium. They'll never play it in a place that potentially has snow, because they never want it to be the game to be ruined by the weather. So it'll always be in either Florida, Texas,
when they played.
Or in Indoor
wasn't it
stadium.
Atlanta a few years ago?
Yeah,
they have had it. They have had it.
Arizona. That's the closed one. That's a new.
Well, they can do it. So it was in Minnesota a few years ago, that's a closed roof, so they can do it in there.
Hasn't it been at MetLife?
It might have been way back when, but they don't do it anymore.
Way back when, in 2014.
It's never in
Seattle Seahawks beat the Denver Broncos.
It's never in like Green Bay. It's never in Buffalo. It's never in like. Cleveland or any Chicago, could be just because they don't want the game, because it's so much money. It does make sense. Like a snow game, it's fun, but it does ruin the game. You know, it does take away from the actual game, and it's kind of a leveler, which you could say is good or bad, really, I guess. Next one in 2013. So this was in New Orleans. This was in the Superdome where the Super Bowl is taking place this year.
It's Baltimore, San Francisco.
It is Baltimore, San Francisco. In the third quarter between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, the power went out for 34 minutes, completely engulfing the stadium in darkness. And it was given the nickname the Blackout Bowl. And the Ravens won the game 34-31. This was also the first time that two brothers were the head coaches against each other in the Super Bowl, with John Harbaugh coming out best against his brother Jim. It's his little brother Jim, who is now the head coach of the San Diego Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. They weren't been San Diego for a
while. So where's the other brother now? Then?
He's still at the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. When was this? Sorry.
2013.
Oh.
So John Harbaugh's been at the Ravens since I think about 2008, 2009. I think it's either him or Mike Tomlin at the Steelers who are the longest-serving head coaches currently, and they're two rivals.
Since Pete Carroll.
Yes, since Pete Carroll's got. I think they've been there longer than Pete Carroll's in Seattle anyway.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think, yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about him just because of age. He was one of the oldest.
He is one of the oldest, yeah. Belichick was until he he's North Carolina now. Yeah, he's at North Carolina now, where he went to college. And then the last one in the 2017 Super Bowl, the New England Patriots were down 25 points midway through the third quarter against the Atlanta Falcons. inspired by a crazy catch by Julian Edelman. And I re-watched this video the other day. It is the luckiest thing I have ever seen. The things that had to happen for it to happen. It's an incredible a catch by him. Incredible to be able to catch the ball. Have you seen it, Dan?
No, I'll have a look.
So basically, the ball comes over the middle and it's tipped by the defender, Robert Alford. So he tips it with his hand. It spoons up in the air. And then as Alford's like falling with Edelman, it comes off his like calf, off Robert Alford's calf, bounces up into Edelman's hands like whilst he's on the floor.
So it hasn't touched the ground yet.
It hasn't touched the floor yet. And then Edelman then bobbles it again, and it almost touched, and he just gets his hands underneath the ball again. It's the most. Yeah. I couldn't believe what I just
changed
seen.
the game.
Yeah. The review for it went on and on and on, and it was, to be fair, a really marginal call. You'd be gutted if you're a Falcons fan. Yeah. But the momentum was all with the Pats. Yeah. And then that game-winning drive in overtime.
And then they came back to win 34-28 in overtime. So
first ever Super Bowl.
They were down by 25 points midway through the third quarter and came back. Like the Falcons threw it away there, and they've not recovered since. Really, they're a little bit better now, but that killed them. That absolutely killed their kind of, because they had a really, really good team. Even going into the next season, they were still a good team. And you could just tell that they never really got over that loss. But yeah, one of those just crazy moments.
The game-winning drive is one of the esports videos where when you put "My Heart Will Go On" over the top in that genre of videos, it's perfect for it.
Yeah, and it I don't want to liken it to like the Aguero moment in the Premier League because it's different. That's more of like a single moment rather than the game-winning drive. But it kind of almost is. You're very unlikely to see that kind of thing again. You know, that Martin Tyler, I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. It's different in the way that Aguero is that single moment, and this was kind of a collection of different things. But yeah, it is up there, I think, with. I don't think teams now will have, after having that happen to another team in the Super Bowl, wouldn't allow it. But it might. It just might.
You never know. That's the thing with sports.
We might see it this year. But we'll move on to our Millennialsmen. Who am I going to go to? Dan first. Dan?
Right. So this guy's a proper Millennialsman, right? So my first memories was when I used to follow Formula One when you had proper drivers, not these, little shitty drivers now and driving protected cars. These
shitty little drivers.
Yeah, these drivers had big bollocks and But yeah, him. So my one is Rubens Barrichello.
Okay. Brazilian, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brazilian. Yeah, he never won a championship, but
when you drive at Ferrari, Schumacher alongside you.
He never won a championship. He had 322 starts, 11 wins, 68 podiums. I just remember when I was over with my grandparents, watching it there on a Sunday, and I really enjoyed watching him. But I don't know why. I think
he was your favourite?
Yeah, he was my favourite. I think mainly because of his name.
What, Rubens?
Rubens Barrichello. Such a cool name.
Barracuda. Ruben Barracuda.
But he's my Millennialsman. For me, when I look back then, he's not
scoring very high on the top trumps, I don't think, if we went back to that.
No, I don't care. This is not top trumps. This is Millennialsman.
Fair.
He is like an icon of Formula One history. He's been at three of the biggest moments. He crashed in qualifying at the Imola Grand Prix in '94 when Senna died. He then was Schumacher's teammate when Schumacher was just untouchable, and so were Ferrari. And then he was in the Brawn team in 2009 that came from nowhere, to win the championship with Button. And Barrichello could have won it then. That was probably his best chance, to be fair.
I didn't know any of that. You just educated me with three.
So, before you start piping up about me Millennialsmen,
I'm a fair weather Formula One fan. I do remember him. I do remember him. Felipe Massa.
I just liked him.
Felipe Massa was the other Brazilian, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Was he Ferrari as well?
Yeah, he ended up at Ferrari. He was like the one they went, right, he's going to replace Schumacher.
Did they ever drive for Ferrari at the same time, the two Brazilians? No. Has there been a Brazilian since?
I think
either of them.
There was Bruno Senna for a while at the same time.
Obviously not related to Arthur.
No, yeah, nephew.
Oh,
But Brazilian.
Yeah. Ayrton Senna was Brazilian.
I thought he was Austrian.
No, you're getting mixed up with Niki Lauda. Who also had a massive crash, but Lauda survived.
Burnt his face, and he
also one of the best Formula One drivers of all time. Also,
I've watched that film.
drove
Rush.
for McLaren.
That's
James
good.
Hunt rhymes with.
Yeah,
That's such a good
a
film.
word that would describe you perfectly.
Yeah, that is a good film. I did not know Ayrton Senna was Brazilian. I thought he was Austrian for some reason.
Senna's such an Austrian-sounding name, isn't it?
Yeah. Thinking back.
Also,
over it
talking of Formula One documentaries, Senna, the Asif Kapadia documentary, by the guy that then went on to do Amy and went on to do Diego Maradona's one. Senna, to me, is unparalleled in sporting documentaries. There hadn't been anything like it. Using those archive clips, no talking heads, to basically do what felt like a film, and then about a man that had as incredible a life as Senna. Yeah,
you enjoyed that one more than you've been enjoying.
Whatever. We can't even remember what it's called now. What's it called?
Last Dance.
Last Dance.
Yeah.
Last
Dance. Yeah.
Do you want to give us your opinion on the Last Dance? Many people like it.
Many people do. Overrated and too long. But then
I like that
maybe
quick and concise. Overrated, too long.
Yeah.
Can get that on a T-shirt.
If I was more into basketball and I'd been aware of the Bulls in the 90s, maybe I'd feel different.
Yeah. Well, who have you gone for?
I have also gone with motorsport, coincidentally, this week. If I was to say to you that there was a man who in the Millennials, he won 9 consecutive championships every single year from 2004 to 2012, making him one of the most successful sports people of the decade that this podcast is looking at. Would you know who I was talking about?
Yeah.
If I hadn't told you the name earlier.
I zoned out after what you were saying. Sorry.
Good. Cheers.
But now I'm locked in.
Okay.
Now I'm locked in.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. If you're not engaged by your own podcast, who the fuck else is?
I'm timekeeping. I'm making sure we're keeping this ship on track. Go on. No, I'm locked in.
Okay. Well, look, the World Rally Championship. I was massively into when I was a kid. Sebastian Loeb came along driving for Citroën, who hadn't really done anything in the World Rally at that point. He became the youngest at the time winner of a World Rally in Monte Carlo 2001. He then competed for the championship in 2003, lost in the last round by 1 point to Petter Solberg, who was my favourite driver of the time. And I didn't like Loeb and I didn't like the Citroëns. I was a big Subaru Solberg fan. But he then went on to win, as I say, all of those championships. At that point, the most championships ever won by anyone else was 4 by Mäkinen and Kankkunen. He goes and wins 9. The most amount of rallies won was something like 24 by Carlos Sainz, the dad of Carlos Sainz Jr.
Well, he was a
rally driver. Absolute legend of the sport. And in the end, Loeb finished with 80 wins. So 24 was the previous record. Loeb gets 80.
Did you actually follow the series, as in, was it WRC, is it?
WRC,
I can picture the logo in my head.
Did you actually follow it? Like,
yeah, I mean, less these days than I did
How does it work?
when I was a kid.
Go around
it
racing
used to
cars.
go past my rally cars. I don't know what event it was or whatever.
It probably
used
was
to go
Wales
past
Rally GB.
my grandpa's house. Is that in what you're saying?
Yeah.
Where does your grandpa live? Or where?
Well, he lived in Tonner in Neath.
They had
he always
like
used to he'd read it in the paper, whatever, and he'd be like, they'll be past one of these days, whatever. And he always used to look.
Yeah, it doesn't happen here anymore.
Why does it? They don't have a Wales Rally GB.
No, they moved. I think they'd moved out of Wales to a different bit of the UK already, but then it stopped in COVID, obviously, and it never came back. But
is it just through like woods and stuff, and then they go through?
So there's different types of events. So some are gravel or snow in Sweden that go through forests and on dirt roads and stuff, and then some are usually in like continental Europe, France, Germany, Spain,
Monte Carlo.
on Monte Carlo. like public roads that are closed off, so they're tarmac rallies.
So they're like country roads more. Like you're not going to go through
it's not a
Barcelona or whatever.
Yeah, it's not. Well, no, I mean they've raced through
Paris
cities and stuff and closed streets, but yeah, and you get different, like you do in tennis, you get clay court and grass court specialists. You'll get tarmac and gravel specialists.
There's a lot to do with like skidding and stuff, isn't it? And like, is that am I
power slides,
it?
Scandinavian flicks, handbrake turns, those kind of things.
Because you have a navigator and a driver, don't you?
Driver and a driver.
Yeah. The guy's there with like a map or something going, we got a right turn coming up here, or
3 left, is it? They put them 3 left.
2003, when
like your driving instructor. Could you just stop when I stop my hand on the car? Could you just stop? Okay, my Millennialsmen. So I'm going with the theme of the episode, which is American football.
Quick question: could you remember the name of the bloke I just told you about?
Loeb.
No. Sebastian Loeb.
Loeb.
Oh, I thought you said low.
No, Loeb.
No,
like earlobe, but
spelt different. But yeah.
And then there was a Swedish name, was it?
Norwegian, yeah.
Norwegian. Okay. You used to you didn't like Citroen and you supported Subaru.
Yes. That's your takeaway.
There you go.
But then
was Colin McRae Subaru?
He was when he
only one I know.
When he won his world championship in '95.
Right. I had a PS1 game of that, rally. Colin McRae
Absolute
rally.
classic back in the day. So
I didn't play it much, I'll be honest. My Millennialsmen, and you can tune out for this one if you want.
Can I tune out as well?
Yeah. Can I listen? So just skip forward about 4 minutes.
Yeah. So my one is sticking with the theme of the Super Bowl and American football, is the player that got me into the NFL in the first place, and that was LaDainian Tomlinson, a running back for the San Diego Chargers and the New York Jets. Played between 2001 and 2011. In the 2006 season, he had an absolutely incredible year. He broke 3 records. He broke the most rushing touchdowns in a season, most touchdowns from scrimmage in a season. So that's like rushing, and if he catches any passes, receive total added together. And the most points scored in a single season, like by a player, which was 196, I believe. He was crowned the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is sort of like what you do for charity around the game and how generous you are with your time and your money to the communities and stuff that surround the game. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-time All-American, included in the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. So they did I think in 2010, they did like an all team of the decade sort of thing, and he was included in that. His jersey is retired by the Chargers, number 21, his jersey number, and he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 2017. He has over 13,500 rushing yards, 145 rushing touchdowns, and he's just the most silky, elusive runner. Like he would juke a defender just on an absolute dime. He's so elusive, so fast, so fun to watch. Kind of like Saquon Barkley now, if you're watching the NFL these days. Saquon Barkley is kind of the closest I've seen to him in terms of his kind of elusiveness and his ability to change direction really quickly, and his speed as well. As I said, he made me kind of fall in love with the sport. And his nephew, Trey Tomlinson, was drafted by the Rams in 2023. However, he is a cornerback, so we won't see him weaving his way through offensive linemen like his uncle, unfortunately.
Quick question: Did they?
What did any of that mean?
Well, I did.
Go back and watch his highlights, and I'll watch Jamal Lowe's highlights.
They retired his number. Why? Because he's dead? Or
no, he's not dead. No,
this one's alive.
I don't agree with that.
They do that. It's more in American sport because he's probably him and Phillip Rivers are probably and Antonio Gates, to be fair, who all played on the same team at this time, are probably like the best players to play for the San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers kind of franchise.
They've not got.
They're a fairly new.
They're
fairly new, and he's got 3 records. He won MVP in this season. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like they do that. they retire his number. So, and it's not like, I guess it's not like a number 10 or a number. It's 21. Yeah, you'll allow that, but
allow it.
Moving on to the quiz.
Oh,
so first round. I'm going to give you one of these.
We're being handed exam papers here.
Yeah. First round is a round called Matchmakers. So we are sticking with American sports for this first round. So I've got 6 American sports teams. Okay. And 6 stadiums. Okay. Don't write anything yet. Don't write anything yet.
I only know one of them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I need you to, you're both going to give an answer at the same time. So you're going to write something down on this. Okay?
What?
I've got guess 1, guess 2, guess 3.
We're doing the matchmakers.
Yes. So right under the guess which one you think, right?
Oh, you don't.
So there's 6 different guesses for this round. Okay, You're both going to get... Let me explain before you do anything.
This could be done more simply, but...
Okay.
Right. In a minute, I will say, write your first guess down.
And are you going to be saying the stadium and we say the team?
No. So if you know any of those, okay, write that in your guess. Okay. If you get one right, okay, you get 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you get one right, you get 2 points.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, if you get one wrong, you don't lose any points.
Okay.
Stop writing. Stop writing. Right. If you both get the same answer right in the same round, you split the points.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you both got the same, I'm going to ask you to read out your first guess, like what you've written down. That's why it's written down.
But what if...
Then...
what if my guess is a different stadium and team to the one that Dan's gone for, but we're both right?
No, that's fine. That's fine. So as soon as one has been guessed correctly, that comes off the board. Okay, so if you get one correctly in the first round and he doesn't get one, that one is then off the board. So you've claimed the points for that one.
I
get it.
I love how much the viewers are going to be following this concept, or
Right.
maybe they're more on the ball than us.
You'll get into it. You'll get it right. So we've got 6 stadiums. They're all car manufacturer brands, and we've got 6 American sports teams. Okay, so we've got Ford Field, Nissan Stadium, Toyota Center, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Honda Center, and Kia Center. And then we've got the Atlanta Falcons, Houston Rockets, Anaheim Ducks, Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans, and the Orlando Magic. So I need you guys to match those teams to the building that they play in. Write down your first guess in guess 1, okay? So these are, by the way, these stadiums are all car brands. They're all car related, all car manufacturer. Got one? Got one down?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Will, what's your first guess? Your first...
I thought we were saying it at the same time.
Well, it doesn't... No, as long as you've got it written down, I can prove that you're not just stolen it.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta Falcons.
Dan?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta Falcons.
So you split the point.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's 1 point each, and that one is off the board. So write down your second one.
Okay.
Will?
Ford Field, Detroit Lions.
Nissan, Detroit.
Will is correct. 2 points to Will. Ford Field and the Detroit Lions are off the board. Number 3. Guess number 3. Will, what have you got?
Honda Center, Anaheim Ducks.
Dan?
Nissan Stadium,
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Both correct. So they come off the board.
So I can't.
You can't get Honda Center and Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
Let's see what's...
I kind of get you now. Did you say? So we got 2 left, basically.
It's a toss-up, yeah. It's a 50-50, isn't it? We've got Toyota and Kia, and Houston and Orlando,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, let me write it down so it's legit in it. Okay.
Right. Guess number 4, Will.
Why does he always go first?
Okay. Dan? Guess number 4.
Toyota,
Yeah.
Orlando.
I've gone Kia, Orlando.
Will is correct. And then you'd have to be. I'll give you 1 point each.
Toyota, Houston, Rockets.
Yeah. So the end of that round.
It's exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that.
See, you slagged it off.
No,
you slagged it off.
It's just the explanation was a
the
bit
going back to school bit.
Then when you got into it, you got the concept of the round. Okay. At the end of that round, Will, you have got 8 points. Dan, you've got 4. So not a bad round either way. So we're going on to the second round. So the way these rounds are going to work, I've got 10 questions for each for the next 3 rounds.
It's a long quiz, isn't it?
It's going to be they're quick questions.
Okay.
Sorry. It's going to be winner stays on. Okay, so if you go first and get one right, you stay on.
Oh, so the toss
and if
is
you get
toss is big.
If you get one wrong, you pass it over to the next person. Okay.
Okay.
So Dan, I'll go first with you since you are losing at the moment. Okay. So round 2 is the Super Bowl halftime show. Okay. So I'm going to give you.
Is this going to be all American themed, the questions?
Yes. I'm going to give you some performers.
Yeah.
You need to tell me
if
they've played at the Super Bowl from 2000 up until the present day.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a headliner of the Super Bowl. They just have to have played a Super Bowl. Okay, so true or false? True or false if they've played the Super Bowl. Winner stays on. 1 point for each. Okay.
He doesn't get to toss the coin to defer, should he wish.
No.
In true NFL style.
I'm sure he wouldn't.
No.
Okay, first one. We're going topical. P. Diddy.
False.
He has played the Super Bowl.
I would have said false too. Yeah.
2004. So the baton goes over to Will. Will, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I don't think since 2000, no.
He played it in 2008. So the baton
we are doing well,
mate. Back to Dan. Drake.
This could be I think false.
Correct.
Yeah, he's too big for Super Bowl.
It's the biggest.
That's had Beyonce.
It's the biggest. Anyway.
He's shit anyway.
Dan keeps the baton. Number 4, Green Day.
True.
That's false.
I said that with confidence.
So
I thought they played it a couple of years ago, but
Prince.
True.
Purple Rain.
Correct.
Iconic performance.
The Rolling Stones.
True.
Correct. Bruno Mars.
True.
Yeah,
correct.
That is true.
He's on a roll now. Taylor Swift. She's been big for a while, hasn't she?
Why are you giving me these clues?
I'm not.
Because when you went, Drake's too big for the Super Bowl, I was going to be like, they've had Beyonce, they've had Taylor Swift. And then I didn't say Taylor Swift because I was like, maybe they haven't. And I'm just thinking of Travis Kelce as the NFL connection. I think no. I think false.
Don't think she's played it.
Correct. She hasn't played it. I can't see it being long until she
bluff,
does.
huh?
But, yeah. So
possibly after Travis Kelce stops being at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Stays with true. A bit of a conflict of interest, I suppose. Stays with you, Will. You too.
True.
Correct.
The 9/11 one.
Yeah, it was in 2002. Correct.
Wow, this is knowledge.
Bob Dylan.
False. Surely.
Correct. He's nailed the back half of that.
Fucking
the back 9.
Yeah.
He's up 14-5. Will is up 14-5.
After doing
that
fucking
round.
Petra's comeback, eh?
Yeah. I'm going to have to choke like Matt Ryan.
So, Will, you stay on for this next round.
That seems fair, yeah.
So, this one is all about the food that Americans consume during the Super Bowl. So, this is based on a survey before last year's Super Bowl of what people having Super Bowl watch parties plan to serve at those Super Bowl watch parties. Okay, it's a Forbes survey. So I'm going to give you a baseline one, and you've got to tell me whether it's higher or lower percentage than...
And are you going to give us Brucey bonuses for this?
No. So the baseline one is 23% of Americans planned on serving hamburgers at Super Bowl watch parties last year. But is homemade desserts higher or lower?
Homemade desserts.
Did more people plan on serving homemade desserts at Super Bowl watch
I
parties.
think Americans quite like a homemade dessert. I think I'm going to go higher.
Like a pumpkin pie.
Incorrect.
Got it.
That was lower. So now that goes on to comes on to homemade desserts. Okay, so hamburgers go out the window.
We are midway through the third quarter.
Yeah. So, did more Americans plan on serving plant-based burgers than homemade desserts, higher or lower?
Yeah, but you need to tell me the percentage of the.
No, I don't.
What?
I feel like.
Well, no, yeah.
No, I don't.
23% is hamburgers.
That's your
Okay,
baseline.
fine. Okay.
I'll tell you the percentages after the round.
Okay, lower.
Correct. That is lower.
Vegan.
So non-alcoholic beverages than plant-based burgers, higher or lower?
They love their weaker drinks, but not
Non-alcoholic beverages, higher or lower than plant-based?
higher.
Correct. Fruit and veg, the non-alcoholic beverages.
Lower.
Incorrect. Yeah, that was a surprising one. Will sides lower or higher than fruit and veg?
Surely higher.
It's lower. Chip and dip.
High.
Yeah.
Correct. Pizza, higher or lower than
This
chip
could
and
be
dip?
a trick where.
Actually, that's tough. I reckon they're both probably quite high, aren't they? So
Higher.
Incorrect. Alcoholic beverages, higher or lower than pizza?
really loving this stab in the dark, having no idea what percentage serve pizza. So,
Yes.
yeah. We might be at 6%
Yeah.
here. We
But
might
if
be
I
at
gave you,
96%.
trust me, if I gave you the percentages, it would ruin it.
Okay.
Trust me. Alcoholic beverages, higher or lower than pizza?
It's sponsored by Bud, partly, isn't it?
But this isn't the Super Bowl event itself, it's watch parties.
Yeah.
So it's people in their homes.
Higher then.
That is lower. Passes over to Dan. Cheese
Choked.
boards.
Choking.
What, higher or lower than alcoholic beverages? Cheese boards.
Lower.
Correct. And then last one, homemade appetizers, higher or lower than cheese boards?
Not higher.
Incorrect. So I'll tell you the percentages. The highest
Devastated to see the back of that round.
The highest one was chip and dip, 73%.
Yeah.
The next one was pizza, 52%. The next one was alcoholic beverages, 45%. Then Then you've got homemade desserts, 19%, plant-based burgers, 4%, non-alcoholic beverages, 22%, fruit and veg, 37%, sides, 29%, cheese boards, 27%, and homemade appetizers, 36%. So a bit of a spread.
Yeah.
If you pardon the pun. Yeah. So going into the last round, Dan earned 4 points from that round. Will earned none.
Okay.
So it's 14-9. It's interesting.
Okay.
And Dan's... No, you got that last one wrong, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it goes over to Will. So this last round is called State of Play. Okay, I'm going to give you a team's nickname, not necessarily just NFL, of the big four American sports. And you need to tell me what state their home stadium is in.
Can't wait for the Kansas City Chiefs trick question.
So, Will, Jaguars.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Correct.
Do I need to say that? Oh, fuck.
Twins.
Minnesota.
Correct. Kings, basketball.
Sacramento, which I think is California.
Correct. Chiefs.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Correct. Commanders.
Okay, so that's Washington's team. So the state it's in is, would it be Maryland, Delaware, or Virginia? Or is it a trick?
Gonna have to push you for an answer.
I am gonna go for Delaware.
Incorrect. It was Maryland. Passes over to Dan. The Raiders. Which state?
Can't even think of the bloody team to start off with. Raiders. Are they an NFL team as well?
Yeah, they are.
I know the badge. It's got a skull on it, isn't it?
A pirate sort of thing.
Pirate. Starts with an O. Orlando.
Used to start with an O.
Used to start with an O. That's not a state either, Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not good with my bloody...
Nevada.
Yeah. So what
was the team?
It was Nevada. It's the Las Vegas
They
Raiders.
used to be the Oakland
They used to be the
Raiders.
Oakland Raiders.
Oakland.
Will, the Giants football.
New York, so it's New Jersey.
It is New Jersey. Well done. The Packers.
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Correct. He's blitzed you.
I'd be awful at this anyway. I'm not good.
Sabres.
Light.
In NHL.
There's no other Sabres.
The Buffalo Sabres in New York State.
The light.
Correct.
Sabres.
And the next one
Tatooine.
is the Spurs.
San Antonio Spurs. Is that San Antonio, Texas?
Correct. He's absolutely blitzed that round.
Piped me.
That round was sent in by my mate Ollie as well,
Nice.
by the way. So
Thank you,
cheers,
Ollie.
for your
Yeah,
input.
nice,
appreciate
Ollie.
that. Nice. Is he the first and
Hope you
last
sleep well
listener,
tonight.
or-
Yeah, he's one of two. But he'll appreciate
Ollie
that.
and your mum, is it?
My mum would never listen to this. She don't give a shit about sport.
Too much swear words in it.
She's not a God-fearing woman. She's a fucking police officer.
She can't watch the Super Bowl.
She's had
She's
more
too
people
busy
call her a
at
cunt than
church.
anyone else. Right, end of the quiz. Will,
I'm a female police officer.
I find it offensive. Will, as blitz today's quiz, he wins 22 points to 9. In fairness, Dan, you didn't have much chance in that.
I'll
last
give you
round,
that
to
one.
be fair.
2-all.
It's 2-all. He's come back, not quite like the Patriots, but
Yeah.
I was looking. I thought Dan they had a good third round there.
Yeah.
and
No, the bloody Americans.
On the food.
This is hard.
you got what was key is getting that last one wrong in the third round and handing it back to him. I think
Yeah.
although you probably would have got Jaguars wrong.
I would have got Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do you know Jacksonville's in Florida though?
No.
No.
I thought Jackson
course
was.
I didn't.
I thought they're just the states. Why don't they just name them after the states instead of the names of
some are.
places?
Well, some are, yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I know, but that's the hard part, isn't it? But anyway.
But that is the end.
So what?
Of,
Sorry.
go
One
on.
quick question. Minnesota Vikings, but Twins. What are they?
That's baseball. Twins are baseball, yeah. Because
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
is the
all right,
the
stop
Twin
showing
Cities,
off now.
The Twin Cities. Yeah.
That I have to admit is an area that I would probably consider a specialist subject.
On Mastermind.
What, Minnesota? An area of special.
yeah. No, big four sports teams in the States.
Really?
Yeah, where they are. Maybe not their stadiums, and would fall down more on the NBA. On
Yeah,
the
do you know
MLB.
where the Minnesota Twins bought the name of their stadium is?
No.
I think it's still Target Field, I think.
You think? So you don't even know?
It definitely was.
I mean,
They
the
definitely
thing
had
that's
it.
the thing about knowing their stadium names is their sponsor names. Most
Yeah.
of them they change.
And they
so
change so
quickly, yeah.
much, yeah. But that's my brand of autism anyway, to the stadium names in the
I'll have a
in
stadium
the,
names
in
in
the
the
English.
UK.
Yeah, I got mixed up the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
day between Brunton Park and Blundell Park.
Blundell Park is Grimsby.
Yeah, and Brunton Park's Carlisle. I said the other way around, and
I didn't know
I
the
was
Brunton.
genuinely
I knew
annoyed with
Blundell
myself.
was
That's how,
Grimsby, yeah.
like,
I used to have Grimsby Korea mode, see.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's grim.
We had a massive glitch by the third season, and it was like 100 million financial takeover every season, so I just pissed the league. It was a bit
Well,
boring.
that's no fun, is it?
Well, it was fun when I had Dele Alli banging in all the goals for me. So, yeah.
Right, on that note, we will end this episode. Go out and watch the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Stay up
Stay
for
safe.
it. Stay up for it. Fuck work the next morning or school or whatever you got to do.
Uni.
It's one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if I make it. We will see. I doubt it. Might come in the
Are
afternoon.
you hosting?
I don't know what I'm doing for it actually at the moment.
You can watch in the SU for free.
Go watch the Super Bowl. It should be a really good game. Go watch the Eagles hopefully beat the Chiefs and end that dynasty.
Let's
And
hope you get this episode turned around in time to get
Yeah.
out.
Well,
before
he's
the
got
Super Bowl.
another. It's next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
we will see you again soon. Thanks.
Au revoir.